Hello, I'm Kim Sauer at SMT Nuremberg. I'm joined today by a regular appearance from Tom Forsythe, Kyzen. Tom, great to see you here in Nuremberg.
Good to see you.
Welcome to Germany.
Thank you.
Slightly drizzly outside, but
well, the sun was out the other day.
Yeah, and sort of the sun is shining in here. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback about all sorts of things going on in the industry. What's your feedback from your customer been like?
Well, our sense is that business is good, and I think it's good sort of in all quadrants. The trends are up a little bit. The economies are picking up around the world. The rising tide lifts all boats, sort of thing. So I think that's true. Is that a recent
development, or have you seen that happening like in the past few months or in the year?
It's been coming on. I think the economies of the world. Like my sense in the U.S. is that people are just tired of things not being well, so they're eager for something to be better. Good news, sort of thing. Europe is certainly, coming out of the doldrums. The UK, Germany's continuing to do pretty well, and I think in general it's that sort of effect. And I'm not so sure that it's driven by any particular new cosmic, pull, an iPad sort of thing, but just in general things seem to be positive. Yeah.
So, well, that's good news.
Absolutely.
And I think from the conversations I've had, it's very much reflected in a lot of people's experiences here at the show. Like you said, it's not driven by that big invention, right, or that
doesn't seem to be.
No, there's not a revolution. Although touching on this industry 4.0, people see as revolutionary, but it's not quite there yet.
Right.
But where for you, for Kyzen, I mean, you've been working on new innovations,
right,
new products, and although they might not be super revolutionary, they're still a step towards making life easier for your customers. So what is there?
Well, it sort of comes in different pieces. In one area, for example, we've introduced a whole new line of stencil cleaning products. Now, talk about an area that's not particularly sexy, right? The cleaning the stencils, that's sort of a maintenance process. But yet, historically, and the data may be exaggerated, but 60–70% of assembly problems are often attributed to the print. Well, people will take exception to that, but everyone agrees it's a large number. Well, certainly having a clean stencil has got to be helpful to that, right? Yet as we looked at our own selves last year and the rest of the market, we saw ancient technology that we and others were all offering for non-ancient needs. And we've developed a line of materials that are targeted at the new materials that we encounter, our soils, the fluxes and pastes. And they're getting rave reviews out in the market. So it's again, matching the need to the demand of people have those needs even though they weren't exercising it because it was sort of a process that got a bit, not a high profile sort of thing. And it's going great. Of course, the new development work continues in the other areas. Our name, of course, means continuous improvement. And the lab folks live that every day, and that they're constantly working on innovations. We'll have some new things in that area coming out this probably in the fall, summer or fall sort of thing, because we're always trying to do it. We have standardized testing that we use internally to benchmark ourselves, benchmark our products. So when it's time to develop something new, we have internal standards where we can tell whether the new idea is actually better or not. So that's very helpful. Instead of something that's new and different, it is genuinely new and improved.
And what are the main challenges you're facing with that? Because there's obviously the product development side of things and what comes with that.
Oh, sure.
Are there external pressures, political pressures, environmental issues that
there's always a few things that are going on. First off is that the soil, the fluxes and pastes are always evolving to deliver better usability for our mutual customers, right? So they're constantly trying to do that. They don't lie awake up at night worrying about cleanability. That's why we exist and our competitors. So that's the number one core issue. Certainly environmental regulations around the world are always a moving target. I don't believe there's any particular cosmic thing going on now other than the general perceptions of people always want a bit safer product, but of course it's got to work. No matter what, the product has to perform, and that's really the key. So those are the sort of the constraints that we normally operate in, and the fact that when you have products that have been running for a few years and running well, the good news is you've got a nice stable of people, and obviously you've got referrals and happy customers, but you've also are defining the marketplace pretty well, and you're either going to reinvent yourself or somebody's going to reinvent you. So there's you know, a balanced paranoia effect, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, the looking over the shoulder sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's always a driver for us. We keep an eye on that to say, all right, you know, we've had a good run on this product. You know, what can we do to make this better? Let's start working on that before the oh my God situation occurs. Absolutely.
So there are certain products actually that you're about to launch onto the market.
Well, these new stencil cleaners have been out for a little bit, and they're really doing well.
Yeah.
This is Aquinox 8820 and 8830, principally that are designed for spray stencil cleaning systems as well as the ultrasonics. Turns out in stencil cleaning, we did a bit of a survey, and there's a number of manufacturers, and amongst them there were 70, nearly 80 different models. Now, models might just have a few buttons or a few extra features. We were stunned by this. You know, we lived in this market, and none of us would have supposed that was and we then categorized and said, all right, you know, what sort of broad categories they fall into? What do they need in a cleaning product? Obviously, if we and everyone else were selling rather ancient materials, one would imagine some of these machines were invented after that. Chances are, right?
Yeah.
What accommodations were they trying to make to older technology that really wasn't ideally suited for what their needs were?
Yeah.
And so that was the analysis that we did as part of, gee, let's define what the world should look like. And that's what we've done, and they really look good. Like I say, they're being very popular out there. They're giving better performance, you know, better economics, a little better health and safety sort of stuff. And so those are the real intro things that are going kind of gangbusters for us right now.
So basically, for cleaning, if I understand it correctly, there's a global need that seems to be quite equal throughout.
Well, what it is
everybody, or are there different needs for different industries?
It starts out as we talk about electronics, because we operate in a number of industrial segments, but in the electronics world, you've kind of got a basic thing, and everyone has a reflow oven.
Yeah.
Or you're not in the electronics business. If you have a reflow oven, you've got some screens and traps in there that have to be cleaned now and again with maintenance products. You know, if you've got a wave solder machine, you've got some fingers that need to be cleaned now and again. If you're printing things, you have stencils that need to be cleaned rather routinely, either with the automatic screen on the printer itself, the underscreen wipe, or on a periodic basis being removed from the machine for a full washing. Regardless of what you're doing all of those. Wave solder maybe being, you know, of course it died 20 years ago, so no one does that anymore, facetiously, right? So now you move into the next chunk of the market where there is an important category of people that clean everything they make, whether it's got no clean paste on it or not. You know, and the example I use, which is a bit extreme, is if you had a pacemaker, would you like it to be no clean, or would you like that to be cleaned, maybe?
I'd like it to be clean.
I think chances are I think we could all agree on that. I think the solder people would agree as well. And that's, again, a bit of extreme. But somewhere between there and a toy, you know, a talking bear, you know, under the Christmas tree, is a line that says, well, maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah.
That line's moving around, constantly does. Our core market is above that line. That's where most of the business is, people that are cleaning assemblies, cleaning everything they make. Instead of cleaning an underscreen wipe every few prints and then a stencil once or twice a shift or something like that, they're cleaning every part they make, you know, several per minute, you know, sort of thing. You know, that's the core market, but those have different needs. So there are different products that are targeted that, just like in stencil cleaning, in the assembly cleaning area, there's different machines. There are the spray and air systems, there's immersion systems, there's conveyor systems, and the products are, you know, we tend to refine the products to optimize them in each of those tools. Yeah. Because the customer only cares about it working well in their tool. Sure. They're not looking for a Swiss Army knife. They want something that's going to work perfect just for them, and that's what we try to deliver. Yeah.
Okay, well, just finally, we touched on the market earlier on generally, but we're in Nuremberg, very German show. What sort of feedback have you been getting about Germany specifically, and how do you see the role of SMT and your part you play within that? You know, what's your strategy?
I think clearly the German economy is doing okay. Now, it's not growing at 10% a year like China is, but then again, no one is growing like that. But it's doing very well, and you can sense that in talking to people. People are confident. People are looking to see how they can do things better, expanding here and there. And that's really positive for all of us, because that expansion is what creates opportunities for everyone. Our key is modern products that meet their needs, that one point we didn't get to in the earlier question was, gee, this cleaning segmentation of the market's one thing, but above that line, is that equally distributed around the world where people clean everything they make? And the answer to that's no. There's a lot of people in Western Europe and the US that clean most of what they make because they're cleaning those pacemakers or other high reliability devices. You know, China and Southeast Asia, maybe the other end of that spectrum, and other parts of the world somewhere in between. You know, Germany, much like the US, you know, much like Japan, is a place where high reliability things are made. Those are things that generally need cleaning for one reason or another, whether it's, you know, our pacemaker example or something else. So those are good markets, and the key there is good support, good service, and modern products that meet their needs. That's the key, and you know, demanding customers have the same needs everywhere. You know, cleaning is not something that's, it's not like you know, tasting a good recipe where they're, you know, around the world we're all acclimated to slightly different things, and what tastes good to someone may not taste good to someone else. Cleaning's pretty cut and dried. It's pretty much
either clear or it's dirty.
It's the same in Shanghai. It's the same in Shenzhen. It's the same here in Nuremberg or in Chicago someplace. So that's an advantage, in that there is, you know, a rather empirical standard, you know, on whether it is or it's not.
Okay, well, interesting talking to you again, meeting you here in Nuremberg.
Good to see you.
Good luck with the rest of the show. I think we've got 1.5 days
we're
left.
at the midpoint. That's right.
Midpoint, yes. So good luck. Thank you very much for joining us. And what's next on the cards?
Let's see. After this, in the electronics world, it's probably Semicon West in San Francisco in a month or two, or the Power Electronics Show in a couple of weeks here in Nuremberg.
So busy schedule.
Yep.
See you at the next one.
See you again somewhere.
Yes.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.